Hello everyone and welcome back to another Mara stock chart planning update video. I'm going to keep this one super simple because I'm just going to focus on the short-term price actions and how I plan to manage this stock short-term, right? We're not going to focus on the overall, third wave estimate. We're not going to focus on what comes after that. We're just going to focus on short-term, what is happening now, and what I feel is notable to share with you guys as well. Now, before we get started, I do want to say a few things. I understand that everyone has their own opinion on every asset. Everyone is free to express themselves in the description down below as long as everyone's being respectful towards each other. But I understand that a lot of people believe Bitcoin has topped. A lot of people believe that Bitcoin won't reach 100K, that will top out around 90. I understand that a lot of people believe Bitcoin does not have much upside, and there's people that believe Bitcoin has plenty more upside, right? And I just fall into the group of people where I believe Bitcoin does have plenty of upside, and by the end of the year, I do believe we'll see six-digit BTC. But that is just my own opinion based on a few factors, which include just some simple fib extensions that start from the late 2022 bear market end that started the bull market. Also, it's based on a lot of institutional adoption. It's also based on demand being much, much more larger than supply, and the influence that Bitcoin is having around the world, and the mining company revenue will begin to, or it's recovering and it will recover, which will allow them to hold more BTC, and things are going to be a little bit easier when it comes to having or seeing the price appreciate, right? So there's a lot of factors that play into my own personal opinion on why I see Bitcoin going much higher soon, and how that would affect Mara as well. I understand that a lot of people think Mara is terrible and it's not worth buying. I do understand that if you look at the larger term. So I'm gonna get all this out the way before I jump into the actual small time frame. But I understand that Marathon Digital Holdings, over time, every Bitcoin bull market top, we've seen a lower high on Mara. That is mainly because Mara is still, even though it's like 10 years old now, I understand that Mara is still a very young company. Excuse me. I understand it's very, very young company, and they need to dilute their shareholders in order to gain more funds to better equip their facilities with the proper equipment that will keep them not just alive, but that will give them the opportunity to thrive and grow within the mining ecosystem, because it's an extremely tough, extremely expensive, hard to maintain, especially with utility prices, being very, very crazy throughout the regions in the U.S. And this is a big, big factor when it comes to, quite simply, maintaining a Bitcoin mining company that is focused on the future, right? So if you're focused on the future, you are willing to risk the short term because you understand that it is essential for the long term. So yeah, I do understand that Mara is not a good, currently it is not a good um, asset to hold if you are looking to hold it just for a couple years. It may take like another decade for this company to mature enough to show the sustainability and the growth potential that it really does have when it comes to its overall just balance sheets. But yeah, this is a great company in my opinion. They're managing their stuff real, real well, and it's all going to pay off with time. It's just something that you need to have patience with if you are a long-term investor. Currently, I am not a long-term investor because I am waiting for them to mature more. I do not want to tie my fund or any funds into this company because I look to close out the majority of my investments throughout the year to fund next year's, living costs, right? I trade every year to then live for the following year, and then I repeat, and that's how I kind of do my things, right? So now let's jump into the shorter picture, right? We understand that late 2022, like I said earlier, One moment. All right, perfect. Late 2022, Bitcoin finished the bear cycle and began the bull cycle, right? So how do I explain this, right? Every bull cycle, I like to separate it from the previous cycles we see in the past back here, right? So the way I do that, and this is all going to tie into the smaller picture. I'm just trying to, give you guys some context so it makes more sense. Currently, the range we're looking at is this. This is the current bull market range. This is where it tops out. This is where it began. I do see higher prices going higher as long as the company does not run into any major headwinds or speed bumps or whatever. As long as Bitcoin eventually around New Year's, or especially by New Year's, and then shows the euphoria stage of the price, accelerating higher in 2025, I should see the stock in this range, which is also lower from the previous cycle top, which falls in line with the diminishing returns that they are seeing due to, again, trying to set up for the future, right? So this is the range we're currently working on. Like I said, we're not going to focus on the next levels that can push this range higher. We are not going to focus on that right now because we need to focus on do 1 hour so I can try to show you guys some context and how that correlates with Bitcoin, right? So in order to explain this, we need to understand what's going on with Bitcoin currently, right? So we understand that in early August, so around the 10th, right? So at the 10th, we start seeing Bitcoin fall lower, making some lower lows and lower highs in this range right here, right? Now, the reason that's very notable before it started moving higher, we know that Bitcoin is moving higher. So keep in mind, we have lower lows right here and lower highs right here, right? And then we saw the price break higher. And now the price there's two levels of support right here, right? We have this ascending support area, and then we also have the 0.618 resistance, which now is trying to act as a support, right? So now if you go over to Mara, bear with me, okay. So here's the 10th of August. We saw the price dip lower and begin to dip even further down, but Mara instead showed price strength. And it consolidated in this area briefly before breaking up higher. As Bitcoin is falling, Mara was actually holding quite well and not seeing major red days like it normally does in history, right? And then as Bitcoin started moving higher, Mara started moving higher as well. So on previous videos, I like to explain to you guys what my 3 levels of confirmation is. I'm going to give you guys a super, super quick summary of that, right? For context reasons, right? So this green area is first level. The gap between the top of the green area and the all-time high for this swing move right here. This is the all-time high for the swing move in this area right here. And then the third wave up here is the current top for the bullish structure that we're looking at, right? So we want to see this all-time high for this swing. So this swing high right here, we want to see that broken, and we want to see the prices move higher. So first level simply looks like break into the green, sustain price action within the green. We want to see the 0.5 get tested. It does not have to hold, but we want to see the 0.35 hold, right? So we want to see price consolidation within this area, and then finally break higher. This is first level of price confirmation, which means we're building momentum to actually begin moving higher. Second level confirmation, same thing. We want to see prices break into this gap right here. This gap, if we see sustained price, that shows that the bears are not strong enough to overtake the bulls. So more bullish momentum begins to build up on the volume of the stock as well as pushing the RSI higher. So we want to see the bulls hold this area as well. So we could easily see price consolidate here, move higher. Retest the 0.5, that's acceptable as long as we don't have consistent close within this area after breaking higher. So what that means, it can mean 1 to 2 full from start to finish daily candles close in this area. We do not want to see that. We can see a price dip below this and then go higher, but we don't want to see daily candles close within this area down here, because that shows weakness, right? We want to be more on the extreme side when it comes to how we're going to be managing this trade. So first level is sustain price in this area to build the bullish momentum needed to go to the second level confirmation, right? Second level confirmation, quite simply, is the same, but in a larger gap. We want to see price hold this area and show that it's building more price strength. Third level is quite simply breaking this high, right here, breaking this high, and then also showing price strength, using this as a support, breaking or not breaking below it, using as support, and then breaking higher back into the the blue level area, which will be finally testing the bullish structure all-time high. For, again, that's for the structure that we're looking at since the late 2022. We are not factoring in a high of like $80 up here or anything like that. We're not focusing on that. Again, late 2022, that's where the new bull structure begins. So when I say all-time high, again, I mean for the structure that we're looking at. So this is the all-time high for the structure we're looking at, and this is the all-time high for the smaller swing high that we need to break, right? Because there's a high right here, high right here. This is the all-time high for this move down, and then this is the all-time high for the structure. So that's it, right? Super simple. First level confirmation, second level confirmation, third level confirmation. That's how we know where we're going to be slowly adding, where we plan to take some off in case we do get a reversal, because we need to be cautious, and then knowing where the gaps are. So we have this entire gap where we can see bullish structure break up higher. That's where we can start adding up more to our position to capture the last few dollars of upside potential. Remember, there is nothing wrong, because no one can time the market. No one knows when something will happen, how long it will extend for. This is why it's important to understand that we're not going to perfectly capture an entire move up, but it is important to manage your trades as the price moves higher, right? We need to know when to shave off and add more to the position as we continue through those levels higher. So with that being said, we're still looking for the first level confirmation. Depending on your risk tolerance, this is where you need to understand that, okay, well, the risk of this coming back down and retesting this support line is very likely, right? It's extremely likely. Even though we did break into the green area briefly, we understand. Let me make sure I'm still, all right, I didn't run out of battery, I'm good. So for me, this is a lot more risky if you're looking for like to close out a trade on Friday, for example, like another 4 days till Friday. The reason this is 4 trading days till Friday, the reason this is very risky if you have such a short-term time horizon is because we're kind of overbought, right? The short term, the RSI is looking overbought. Not just that, we reached a resistance area. Just because we see the prices break into the green does not mean we have enough bullish momentum to say that the price is going to go higher. Quite simply, we can easily see, and like it may not look like much, but we can easily see like a 5% correction back to the support line. Does not mean we're going to break above it. This is why in previous videos I kept saying that I am very surprised that the accumulation area was always shallow. This accumulation area is shallow. We did not see an extended move downward until we can get further confirmation that we are seeing bullish momentum within the green. This shallowness in this area is very dangerous because we can easily see the price fall down a little bit more because Bitcoin is currently, it did go up quite a bit quickly, and a little bit of a correction with Bitcoin. So I'm just trying to keep you guys cautious and realistic. You know, we can easily see this get broken and retest the 0.5, right? Because just because we have a pretty strong support area right here does not mean it needs to respect it. What we could do is keep an eye on Bitcoin as Bitcoin shows signs of a potential, uh, potentially respecting that support line. We can then see that actually happen. We can then see the support line continue to go higher. But this is where you need to be cautious. Understand how much you're willing to enter into a trade, how much you're willing to add into a trade, depending on your time horizon and how you see the likelihood of, because we're still in a bearish move downward, right? We still have, you know, like a like so this is like a support area right here, and that's where we're at. This could easily act as a resistance from the support area right here, and act as a resistance. The premium and discounted purple line can act as a resistance, just like it can act as a support, like it's done previously. So there's a lot of resistance right here in this area for it to move down, right? The question is, if you have a time horizon of, say, like you believe Bitcoin, and this is my opinion, but if you believe Bitcoin is looking to move higher throughout the next 3 months as we go towards, New Year's, it's very important to understand that just because prices are going to be up there does not mean this price needs to go up now. And just because interest rate cuts are coming up starting September 18th, that's the word on the street, uh, does not mean that prices have to move higher. We still have a handful of weeks before that day arrives, right? Let me make sure I'm still good. Okay, which means we can easily see more suppressed price action as we approach that important economic calendar date, right? So we can easily see more suppressed price action. We can see another test of this red area, which is why it's very important. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I'm using this as a accumulation area, and I'm not doing anything for this entire gap because we can easily be rejected and pushed back down. I don't blame anyone to take short-term um, like puts or some like short-term um, if you short this stock short-term, it I wouldn't blame you just because I do see a lot more uh, rough roads for this week, right? Because again, we have a lot of resistance right. We have the premium and discounted division half right here. We have the green area, which may act as a resistance short term, and then we can easily see another test into the red area because of how shallow the previous ones were. So, but depending what happens throughout this week, this is why we need to pay attention to it, right? So I am looking to slowly shave out of this position lightly because I do see potential resistance. I could be wrong, but that's my approach. That is my own plan. That's how I plan to manage this stock. In no ways am I telling anyone to do what I'm doing because I am willing to wait. I am willing to wait for gaps to be filled. I'm willing to wait weeks without doing anything to my trades, right? I accumulated lightly. I am looking to shave some off in case we have a rejection. And I'm also looking for the first level of bullish price action, which is building bullish momentum in this area, which will look like this, right? Where we see, excuse me, I don't know where. Okay, brush. Where we can see price kind of test the 0.5, show consolidation, break higher, show more price strength consolidation, where now the resistance is acting as support, and then we can finally move higher from there. I hope this makes sense. It's a very delicate stock. Like nothing in this is financial advice. It's just me expressing to you guys how I plan to manage this trade short term, how I plan to um you know uh just manage this trade short term. It's as simple as that, right? I am a very patient person. The trades I make on Mara do not define my overall income. I am willing to be a little bit more risky with this stock just because I don't just have strict stop losses for the lower half of this area right here. I do not just have strict stop losses for that. I have a strict time horizon. If right now I'm willing to hold on to my any Mara trades till um, halfway through October. I have a good time horizon for it. I'm not, and if I were looking at any short term, like I may be potentially looking at opening a short trade with this stock that expires Friday, um, just to take advantage of like short term fluctuations and kind of um, express my confidence with how I am treating this line right here. I personally short term resistance. I personally see strong short term resistance more than breaking above it even higher. Although we will see how that goes, right? Because we are still in somewhat of a growth assets correction phase, and which could affect this one. And we can see Mara drop down just a little bit. But this is very important to understand that there's short term resistance. We can easily see this act as a magnet. We have um, Bitcoin still deciding if it's going to have a little bit of a correction or not. Um, it's quite simply something we just have to watch. It's something that you have to decide how you want to approach it. But I don't plan I don't plan on adding to this trade at all this week. Maybe I might take a quick short little super short trade, but most likely not because that's a pretty small gap. So most likely I won't do anything, but it's very important to understand that it may be a dangerous time to be an aggressive long. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it made sense. I know I repeat myself a lot and that's something I'm working on, but I hope everyone has a great day or night wherever you're at. Hopefully you found this helpful. I appreciate a like and subscribe. I have some social medias link in the description and a link in my website in the description for our free Discord server if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, guys, just be patient, stay strong. I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's an amazing time to really be paying attention to these assets. So yeah, I'll catch you guys soon.